Well, hello, welcome. I am Holly Miller, Dean of Libraries here at Florida Tech, and I'm just so happy to welcome you to the 6th annual African American Read-In and to the virtual Evans Library. Isn't it great to be here? We're so excited to be collaborating with the School of Arts and Communications on tonight's very special event and to be able to interact with our friends again. You know, this is the last in-person event that we had in the library was a year ago, and it was the 5th African American Read-In. And so it's been quite a year for many of us. But right now, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Heidi Edwards, who's the acting head of the School of Arts and Communications. Dr. Edwards?
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Greetings from Florida Tech School of Arts and Communication. We are excited to once again partner with Evans Library in presenting this informative and engaging event, showcasing and celebrating the contributions of African American authors, activists, artists, poets, playwrights, and others in the US and the world. Black history is a part of America's history, and it is important for all of us to know, learn, and understand this legacy, which is interwoven throughout our nation's narrative. I am pleased to introduce our program host, Faraha Merritt, a recent Florida Tech graduate who is now pursuing her master's degree in computer information systems. She is also the founding president of Florida Tech's Black Student Union. Take it away, Faraha.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards. It is an honor and privilege to host the African American Read-In again this year. I did it last year in person, and we are at it again on virtual, so this is even better. I hope you all are ready, and if not, I want you to get ready to see and hear from a group of amazingly talented individuals as we celebrate the Black family. In her poem, The Black Family Pledge, the late poet and activist Maya Angelou said, "We are to pledge to bind ourselves to one another and to do all good things, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers and sisters." Tonight, we will revel in that connections as brothers and sisters. For an hour or so, we will hear readings that celebrate and explore the complexities of being family. We have readings for every member of the family, from young children to grandma to great-grandma. I'd first like to thank Florida Tech adjunct instructor Donald Harold and his wife, Tutu, for the drumming prelude before the beginning of the program. Mr. Harold taught our Modern African American Studies course last fall, which I was a student with, and is currently teaching the class on the evolution of hip hop. He and his wife comprise Orissa Rissi, African Folklore, a highly acclaimed performing arts company that teaches about the beauty and poignancy of African life and culture. You will hear more from Mr. Harold later in the program, but first we will have a verse or two from the late Tupac Shakur, as recited by Florida Tech graduate student and our Black Student Union treasurer, LaTuan Sutton. He will be followed by an original piece, The Work of My Mother's Hand, by Dr. Marvin McLean, a public school educator and teacher researcher who was also the 2020-2021 political scholar in residence at Gladstone Library in the UK.
The work of my mother's hands. I sat and watched you work, crouched tirelessly over the sewing machine, one foot pedaling the ancient wheel, whirring sounds, a lullaby that gently soothed me to sleep, a book of fairy tales, my faithful companion, still firmly clutched in moistened palms, journeying with me onto the landscape of distant dreams. "I am making you a Sunday school frock," you said the next morning, stretching wide a continent of fabric, blue and white piqué whose patterns danced like butterflies taking flight into the warm sun of my morning play. This formless fabric you molded, cutting, measuring, contouring the frock to fit my undefined 7-year-old shape. From my distant corner, I watched intrigued, rising excitement pounding within my heaving breast. I did not know then of the inward struggles, the stalled dreams that propelled your foot on that ancient wheel, and lined your face in the penciled crinkles of your soothing smile. When the frock was almost done, you shaped a wide sailor collar for its finishing touch. A slender, straight sheath of material, you fashioned the letters of my name onto the special promise of that virgin garment. With letters penciled across the wide expanse of fabric, your pointed needle weaved the gossamer threads, etching the outline of my name in blue embroidery on white piqué. You fashioned me from the work of your hands. And as the years rolled along with the changing seasons, an eternal web spawned between mother and daughter, and memory dimmed by the diurnal rituals of marriage, childbirth, family and travels through a web of myths and dreams, my blue and white dress became a soon forgotten relic, till age has brought me this remembrance. And as I journey through the summers of my memory, I recall how you created with cloth, needles, and thread, and today I create with pencil, paper, and memories. I know now that your hopes and dreams are woven into the seamless fabric of my life. Your love, your dreams, and experiences have swirled and knitted us together into the embroidered tapestry of our life's journey. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share a poem that I think is near and dear to my heart. It was written by Tupac Shakur, and it's called Family Tree, that he wrote for his mother in the early 90s. Because we all spring from different trees does not mean we are not created equally. Is the true beauty in the tree or in the vast forest in which it breathes? The tree must fight to breed among the evils of the weeds. I find greatness in the tree that grows against all odds. It blossoms in darkness and gives birth to two promising pods. I was a tree who grew from the weeds and wasn't meant to be. Ashamed, I'm not in fact. I am proud of my thriving family tree. Thank you, everybody.
Can we clap?
Thank you, LaTwan, for bringing in Tupac. It's such a touching piece, Dr. McLean. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Now let's gather the children around as John Birdie zooms in to read the book, I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont. Mr. Birdie is a retired law enforcement officer and 9/11 first responder who co-founded the Birdie Eco School located in the Old Galley Arts District of Melbourne. He is also the co-founder of the Hey Blue initiative, which creates meaningful connections between police officers and the communities they serve. Hey Blue's Black History Month Storytime was this morning, where police officers read books written by Black authors to children. All right, Mr. Birdie.
Thank you, Ms. Faraha. I appreciate everybody having me here tonight. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a lyrical journey, so I hope you enjoy it. The book, I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont. Here we go. Here we go. Can you see it? Here we go. Here we go, here we go. I like myself, I'm glad I'm me. There's no one else I'd rather be. I like my eyes, my ears, my nose. I like my fingers and my toes. I like me wild, I like me tame. I like me different and the same. I like me fast, I like me slow. I like me everywhere I go. I like me on the inside too. For all I think and say and do. Inside, outside, upside down. From head to toe and all around. I like it all is me. And me is all I wanna be. And I don't care in any way what someone else may think or say. I may be called a silly nut or crazy cuckoo bird, so what? I'm having too much fun, you see, for anything to bother me. Even when I look a mess, I still don't like me any less. 'Cause nothing in this world, you know, can change what's deep inside. And so, no matter if they stop and stare, no person ever, anywhere, can make me feel that what they see is all there really is to me. I'd still like me with fleas or warts, or with a silly snout that snorts, or knobby knees or hippo hips, or purple polka dotted lips, or beaver breath or stinky toes, or horns protruding from my nose, or yikes with spikes all down my spine, or hair that's like a porcupine. I still would be the same, you see. I like myself 'cause I am me. I'm me, I'm always me. I like myself 'cause I am me. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on that lyrical journey with me. That book was called I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont, and the beat was Biggie Smalls. I have a story to tell. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, John. I love the beat, love the rap with the book. If I could rap, I'd be doing it with you. Thank you again. All right, so now we'll watch a video from Donald Harrell with a message to the youth of America.
Did you know that for thousands and thousands of years, the children of Africa have sat at the feet of their elders, listening to stories in the mystical light of the moon? Stories that came before modern science, explaining things like why things are as they are, teaching lessons like right from wrong, how to be a good friend, how to respect yourself and others, and especially how to respect our elders. Here's one such story. It is called in English, Dog and Turtle.
Now, I'm going to tell you what they are called in Yoruba. Aja, Ati, Ijapa. We are also going to learn how to say it in Spanish. Everyone, please say, Pero y Tortuga.
Storytellers never tell stories unless everyone's ready. To show the storyteller you're ready, you have to be absolutely quiet, still, and all eyes have to be on the storyteller. Now then, and only then, will the storyteller say, "Hello," which means, "Are you ready for the story?" If you are, you have to say and do this.
Hello.
I mean, bring the story down. Let's try it. Hello.
Hello.
Once upon a time, in animal land, there was no food. The animals began to suffer, and they suffered so much that they became selfish. And they started to think only of themselves, all except one animal. That animal was dog. When there was trouble, the dog thought about his mother, and he placed her in heaven. When dog went to a special spot and sang a magical song, something would happen. Please, everyone, help us sing dog's song.
All right, now this is your response. Can everyone say, Alu John, John, Kid John? You clap your hands at the same time. So let's do it together. Everybody say, Alu John, John, Kid John. Iya, iya, jo, kusi leo.
Alu John, John, Kid John.
Gbọ̀gbẹ̀rún kópa, yẹyẹ rẹ̀ jẹ́.
Alu John, John, Kid John.
Ajámu tirẹ̀ ó rọrùn.
Alu John, John, Kid John. When dog's mother heard those words, she would drop a long magical rope down from heaven. Now, dog would climb that rope, and when he reached heaven, his favorite food was always waiting on him. The dog would eat, he'd give his mother a hug and a goodbye kiss, and then he'd climb the rope back down to animal land. Now, this went on for a long, long time until one day, dog's best friend, Ijakpa, the turtle, got wise. Turtle said, wait 1 minute. No food in the forest? All of the animals are getting smaller and weaker, except for that dog. He's getting bigger, and he's getting stronger every day. I'm gonna find out his secret. And sure enough, the next day before dog could leave home, turtle hid in the bushes near his house to watch his every move. And when dog went to that magical spot, the turtle was watching, and dog looked up to heaven and sang.
Ìyá ìyá jókòó sí ilẹ̀ o.
Alu John, John, Kid John.
Ìyá ìyá jókòó sí ilẹ̀ o.
Alu John, John, Kid John.
Gbọ̀gbẹ̀rún kópa, yẹyẹ rẹ̀ jẹ́.
Alu John, John, Kid John.
Ajámu tirẹ̀ ó rọrùn. Alu John, John, Kid John.
When dog's mother heard the words, she dropped the long magical rope as before. Dog again climbed the rope, and when he reached heaven, his favorite food was waiting on him as always. Dog ate as before. He gave his mother the hug, and he gave her the goodbye kiss, and then climbed the rope back down to animal land. But this time, as soon as dog touched the ground, that turtle said, yeah, I knew that dog's secret, and I'm gonna trick that dog. And sure enough, the next day, before dog could leave home, turtle slipped into his house and tied him down. He disguised himself as dog. He went to that magical spot, tried to disguise his voice, but turtle doesn't have a nose, so he sounds like this.
We all going to sing like the turtle. You ready? Now everybody say.
Now you know every mother knows her child. And right away, Dog's mother said, "That doesn't sound like my boy Dog." But then she thought, maybe he has a cold. And so she dropped the long magical rope anyway. But time come and time go, and still no dog, because turtles are very, very slow. Meanwhile, the turtle was still at the very bottom of the rope. Finally, Dog's mother said, "Dog should have been here by now. Let me look down and see what's going on." And she went over to the edge of heaven, took one look at Turtle trying to disguise himself as Dog, and she knew that was not her child, because every mother
Knows their child.
Dog's mother released that rope. Down the naughty turtle fell until he hit the ground. And that, dear folks, is why all turtles have cracked backs until this very day.
A good story is never over until the lesson is learned.
The lesson we learn while reading, watching, or listening to a story is called the moral. What does this story teach us?
Thank you, Mr. Harold and Tutu again. Now, we couldn't focus on the Black family without talking about our mothers, mommies, and moms. And as you can see, I have my mother there, lovely, pretty lady there, and there again, back in 19, never mind, looking fine as ever. Next up, we hear from Florida Tech Assistant Professor of Clinical Psychology, Dr. Felipe Chavez, who will read a selection of short poems from the book Mother Poems by Hope Anita Smith.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Mother Poems by Hope Anita Smith. I've got a mama who combs and plaits my hair with gentle, soothing rhythms, fingers dancing everywhere. I've got a mama who wraps me in her arms like I'm some kind of present, says I'm her lucky charm. I've got a mama who loves me through and through. Can't nobody love me like my mama do. Superheroes. I know Batman has a really cool car and Spider-Man can swing on a web like Tarzan, but I've got a better superhero than that. I know Wonder Woman can deflect bullets with her bracelets, and the Bionic Man can leap 30 feet in the air and has superhuman speed, but I've got a better superhero than that. I have a superhero who lifts me out of sorrow and rocks me in her arms. I have a superhero who knows how much danger I'd be in without her and travels the heart of darkness to come back to me. All other superheroes are just pretenders to the throne, because I have the ultimate superhero, the one with eyes in the back of her head. She sees all and knows all. She guards my closet door and keeps monsters at bay and knits me in a protective force field that also keeps me warm at night. She is always just where I need her to be, just when I need her to be. She is the mother of all superheroes. She is my mom. Mother knows. A mother knows how to doctor. When you're hurt, she patches you up with a Band-Aid. Sometimes she can heal you with a kiss. She is the best medicine. A mother knows how to fly. When you're wobbly on your feet or clumsy with a glass, she's there in a single bound, donning her supermom cape, swooping you up in her arms, averting disaster. Mother knows how to guide, helping you navigate through hurt feelings and bad choices, pointing you in the right direction, but letting you find your way. She is your North Star. Mother knows. In her shoes, I felt powerful, took on the world without fear or reservation. I clomped around in her shoes, and each time they hit the floor, the earth shook, or at least the picture frames on the coffee table. In her shoes, I was my mother, and I could do anything she could do, and she could do anything. I steered clear of the things hanging in her closet, no clothes dragging me down or tripping me up. I wore her shoes, my voice strong, my smile big, my heart happy. I stood tall. Sound advice. Get your hands off your imagination, my grandmother said. And my mama laughed long and loud as they hugged me to them. You got to earn the right to plant your arms akimbo. You got to work a little harder. You got to live a little longer. You got to finish becoming a woman. And then you can stand and place your hands upon your hips, and your hips will hold them up. Mother's Poems by Hope Anita Smith.
Very touching poems, Dr. Chavez. Definitely reminded me of my mother. Now let's turn our attention to author and educator Gina Preston, who will read her wonderful children's book, Zombie Soup.
Oops. Okay, give me 1 minute. Let's see. Okay. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? No?
Yes.
Can you? All right. How about now? Okay. Ben's unsure about eating Mom's new soup, especially since he spotted something odd inside his bowl. Is there really something in his soup, or is it just Ben's imagination? Hold on your soup spoons, everyone, because things are about to get a little strange. Eat your soup, said Mom. I can't, said Ben. There's a zombie in my soup. Don't be silly, Mom laughed. There isn't a zombie in your soup. Ben stuck the spoon in his soup and swished it around. Ew, red zombie's guts, said Ben. Those are not zombies' guts, replied Mom. That's tomato broth. What about these creepy black eyes staring at me? Asked Ben. Those are peas, said Mom. Glunk, went the soup. Gross, green zombie fingers, gasped Ben. It's just broccoli, Mom sighed. The soup noise woke up Skippy. "I'll be right back," said Mom. "Eat all your soup before you go outside." When Mom left, Ben smacked his soup. Splash, glunk, the green fingers disappeared. "Yay, I did it," said Ben. "No more zombie soup." But Skippy wasn't so sure. "Arf!" barked Skippy when he saw something move. Ben leaned over the bowl to get a better look. The soup started to bubble and the bowl began to rumble. "The zombie's climbing out of the soup." "Hide, Skippy," said Ben, and he dived under the table. Skippy jumped off the chair and followed Ben. "Blar," growled the zombie, and it popped out of the soup. The zombie crawled around the table above them. It knocked things over and splashed zombie guts everywhere. The zombie dropped its orange arm over the table. It wriggled its green fingers looking for Ben. "Skippy," Ben whispered, "there's a zombie in our kitchen." "Yeah," whimpered Skippy. Suddenly, the zombie peeked over the edge of the table and found Ben. "Ah!" yelled Ben. Ben and Skippy ran out from under the table. "Blar," growled the zombie and came after Ben. Ben threw his soccer ball at the zombie, but the zombie did not stop. Ben threw Skippy's rubber bone at the zombie, but the zombie did not stop. Ben tried to run out of the kitchen, but it was too late. The zombie grabbed Ben with its arms and snarled. "Help!" cried Ben. "Woof, woof," barked Skippy, and he came to the rescue. Skippy jumped on top of the zombie's head, took a huge bite, and he gobbled the zombie all up. "You did it, Skippy," cried Ben. "No more zombie soup." Just then, Mom walked in. "I'm glad the zombie soup is all gone," she teased. "Now you can go out and play." "Thanks," said Ben. "You're welcome," said Mom. "Blar," growled Skippy. The end.
Thank you, Gina. Had I known a dog would have ate all my vegetables for me when I was younger, I probably would have asked my parents for a dog, but that wouldn't have worked either. That's one way to eat your vegetables, though. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Next up are readings by 3 Florida Tech students that center on love and acceptance. First up, a reading of Maya Angelou's poem, "In and Out of Time," by Brian Dixon, president of the Caribbean Students Association. He is followed by Black Student Union Vice President Kafele Wembley, reading renowned spoken word poet Rudy Francisco's "A Lot Like You." Then Jerry Collins II asks, "What color are hue?" That hue from poet Desmond Span. Here's Brian.
Thank you for In and Out of Time by Maya Angelou. The sun has come, the mist has gone. We see in the distance a long way home. I was always yours to have, you were always mine. We have loved each other in and out of time. When the first stone looked up at the blazing sun, and the first tree struggled up from the forest floor, I had always loved you more. You freed your braids, gave your hair to the breeze. It hummed like a hive of honeybees. I reached into the mass for the sweet honeycomb there. God, how I love your hair. You saw me bludgeoned by circumstance, lost, injured, hurt by chance. I screamed to the heavens, loudly screamed, trying to change our nightmares into dreams. The sun has come, the mist has gone. We see in the distance our long way home. I was always yours to have, you were always mine. We have loved each other in and out, in and out, in and out of time. Thank you.
A Lot Like You by Rudy Francisco. I was told the average girl begins to plan her wedding at the age of 7. I was told she picks the colors and the cake first. By the age of 10, she knows the time and the location. By 17, she's already chosen a gown and a maid of honor by 23. She's waiting for a man who doesn't break out in hives when he hears the word commitment. Someone who doesn't smell like a Band-Aid drenched in lonely. Someone who is more than a temporary solution to the empty side of the bed. Someone who will hold her hand like it's the only one he's ever seen. To be honest, I don't know what tux I'll be wearing. I have no idea what my wedding will look like, but I imagine the woman who pins my last name to hers will butterfly down the aisle like a 5-foot promise. I imagine that her smile will be so big that you will see it on Google Maps and know exactly where our wedding is being held. The woman that I plan to marry will have champagne in her walk, and I will get drunk on her footsteps. When the pastor asks me if I take this woman to be my wife, I will say yes before he even finishes the sentence. I will apologize to him later for being impolite, but I will also explain to him that our first kiss happened 6 years ago, and I've been practicing my yes for the past 2,165 days. And when people ask me about my wedding, I never know what to say. But when people ask me about my future wife, I always tell them that her eyes are the only Christmas lights that deserve to be seen all year long. I tell them that she thinks too much. She misses her father. She loves to laugh. And she's terrible at lying because her face never figured out how to do it correctly. I tell them that if my alarm clock sounded like her voice, my snooze button would collect dust. I tell them that if she came in a bottle, I would drink her until my vision is blurry and my friends take away my keys. I tell them that if she was a book, I would memorize her table of contents. I would read her cover to cover, hoping to find typos just so we can both have something to work on. Because aren't we all unfinished? Don't we all need editing? Aren't we all waiting to be read by someone? Praying they will tell us that we make sense? She doesn't always make sense, but her imperfections are the things I love about her the most. To be honest, I don't know when I will be married. I don't know where I will be married. But I do know this. Whenever I'm asked about my future wife, I explain her as the best I can. She always sounds a lot like you. Thank you.
So I'll be reading What Color Are You by Desmond Span. I mix with heaven-sent melanin, blended in the pot melting U.S. American, scaring them since 1982. Who are you? Follow the clues. Played the fool, thought it was cool. Sold it as truth, no, redefine. Who do you think you are? I am man by God made black by men. They designed the game skewed for dark skin. Didn't choose my position, but I carry the vision. Through the new moonlit rivers to the glowing dawn, through tunes of blues to our freedom songs. Don't get me wrong, our journey has not ceased. Don't believe what he tweets. No justice, no peace. I'm the definition, part of whole depictions, reminiscent on visionary men like James Baldwin and Paul Robeson. It's sweet scoping the depths of the multiverse cause everything is black from which the stars burst. Thank you.
Oh, yes. You guys set a wonderful representation for Florida Tech. And Kafeli, please, please make sure I get an invite to the wedding and use that exact same poem.
Funny.
I'm going to print it out and then I'm going to give it to someone really special so he can read me that poem. And wonderful job, Brian and Jerry, always. All right, so we're going to take a breather for a second. Let's go back to February 1926, when Dr. Carter G. Woodson initiated the celebration of Negro History Week, which corresponded with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. The week was expanded to a month in 1976, but the goal remained the same: to highlight how African Americans have significantly impacted the development of the social, political, and economic structures of the United States and the world. The next two presenters bring into focus unique perspectives on how far we as a nation have come in fulfilling that goal and how far we must still go. Florida Tech Assistant Professor of History, Dr. Jacob Ivey, will read a passage from Jane Baldwin's The First Next Time, while poet, writer, and brand ambassador Ramon Marquez recites an original piece on the portrayal of Black families in modern times.
Thank you, Farha, so much. And I'll just say that this is the highlight of my year in many instances of Florida Tech. And I'm so thrilled that we were able to continue this tradition overall. So James Baldwin is arguably one of the most important minds of his day. Born in Harlem in 1924, he begins his writing career in Paris and then returns to the US in the 1960s to take part in the civil rights movement. And he works with the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., Medgar Evers, Elijah Muhammad, and befriends Malcolm X. And his literary works were widely praised, including his loosely biographical Go Tell It on the Mountain from 1953 and The Fire Next Time, probably his most famous work. And this reading is going to be a selection from the opening section of The Fire Next Time. It's addressed to Baldwin's nephew, James, on the 100th anniversary of emancipation. Now, my dear namesake, these innocent and well-meaning people, your countrymen, have caused you to be born under conditions not far removed from those described for us by Charles Dickens in London for more than 100 years ago. I hear the chorus of the innocents screaming, "No, this is not true. How bitter you are." But I am writing this letter to you to tell you something about how to handle them. For most of them do not really know that you exist. I know the conditions under which you were born, for I was there. Your countrymen were not there and haven't made it yet. Your grandmother was always there, and no one has ever accused her of being bitter. I suggest that the innocent checks with her. She isn't hard to find. Your countrymen don't know that she exists either, though she has been working for them all their lives. I know your countrymen do not agree with me here, and I say to them, you exaggerate. Or I hear them say, you exaggerate. They do not know Harlem, and I do. So do you. Take no one's word for anything, including me, but trust your experience. Know whence you came. If you know whence you came, then there is really no limit to where you can go. The details and the symbols of your life have been deliberately constructed to make you believe what white people say about you. Please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity and fear. Don't be afraid. I said it was intended that you should perish in the ghetto, perish by never being allowed to go beyond and behind the white man's definition, by never being allowed to spell your proper name. You have, and many of us have, defeated this intention. And by a terrible law, a terrible paradox, those innocents who believe that your imprisonment made them safe are losing their grasp of reality. But these men are your brothers, your lost younger brothers. And if the word integration means anything, this is what it means: that we, with love, shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it. For this is your home, my friend. Do not be driven from it. Great men have done great things here and will again, and we can make America what America must become. It will be hard, James, but you come from sturdy peasant stock, men who picked cotton, dammed rivers, built railroads, and in the teeth of most terrifying odds, achieved an unassailable and monumental dignity. You come from a long line of great poets, some of the greatest poets since Homer. One of them said, "The very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my chains fell off." You know, and I know, that the country is celebrating 100 years of freedom, 100 years too early. We cannot be free until they are free. God bless you, James, and Godspeed. Your uncle, James. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ramon Marquise, and the name of this piece is Black and the Picture of Many Powers. Hard to explain, unprecedented, undenied, ravaged by its struggles rooted in tradition, unity, secrets, and Jehovah. There are many facets to it, various levels, many dimensions. Millions have witnessed its brokenness and conquering superpower. Let's keep it 100. Let's pull back the carpet. Absentee parents, childhood trauma, women raising men, children having children, streets making boys, slit talkers stealing girls' innocence. Extra kids, extra wives, generational secrets and curses. Uncles become mama's boyfriends. Body, drugs, and fraud, a source of income. Pause, time out, flag on the play. That picture I present is not mine. A fraction exploited for control, subdued to a lower echelon of society, not rooted in complete definition, essence of the Black family manipulated, rebuked, oppressed, untold truths with incomplete stories. The truth, their truth, not sustained. This picture isn't mine, it's theirs, the majority, media, the colonizers, some, not all, perfectly flawed. Perfection, an unessential and undesired goal. Pain producing purpose. Mustard seed size faith and determination, moving mountains and building corporations. Identity, our identity is not defined by crimes, athletes, rappers, or disparaging race. From the deserts of Egypt, jungles of Kenya, cotton fields of the South, paved roads, home runs, peanuts, back of buses. Building the White House to running the White House. Achievement, a necessity and expectation. Climb mountains, swim seas, unended talent that drips from every molecule. Love that is given, stolen, and replenished daily. Open your eyes. Be honest. Take a second. Dig deep. When have any aspect, phase, expansion, or just mere existence seen the light of day without the Black family? We tended the flock, picked cotton for miles, cooked your nutrients, fed your fetishes under your wife's nose, raised your kids and ours, shined your shoes, built your buildings, expounded our manners, bit tongues, swallow pride, entertained, robbed of our humanity and unfed souls, starved as our children ate, broken back, torn spirits, so you remained rich and powerful. Played our part, ran our games on the back of tainted histories. We overcame an inch while still fighting for a mile, for a conversation, equality, respect, freedom, life. That's our struggle. That's the passion. African, Caribbean, American, European, a powerful, unbroken creation that can be your biggest asset or your biggest hurdle. You decide. You see, that's our representation. That's our identity. Oh, say, can you see? You never saw us, but you feel us. You fear us. You appropriate us, and that part doesn't really bother me. You made billions off of us. Pride unduplicated, culture unduplicated, anatomy unduplicated. Essence, fire, soul, value, intellect, aura, pride, history, achievements, attachments, exclusivity, inclusive attachments, and affiliations. That's our diversity. All aforementioned paths from generation to generation, seed to seed, through power, food, forgiveness, fight, and praise. Infectious and stopped by no one's kryptonite. It's an embedded and untraceable power. Lean on it, protect it, model it, respect it, align with it. That's what my picture shows. I am the picture, and that picture is me, is you, is we. And that I can say and see.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ivy and Mr. Marquise. Those were thought-provoking, especially on what we think about in terms of images, identity, and culture, our pictures of ourselves and what we would like to see. We will now hear from our final two presenters and our exploration of the Black family. Dia Sanders, an advisor with Florida Tech's Office of First Year Experience, will read an excerpt from former First Lady Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. Rounding out our readings will be a special poem to grandmothers and great-grandmothers, read by Florida Today journalist and Florida Tech adjunct instructor, Jeff J.D. Gallup. But stay zoomed in and don't go anywhere. There's a little more coming up that you don't want to miss.
Thank you. One summer day when I was about 10, I sat on a stoop chatting with a group of girls my age. We were all in pigtails and shorts and basically killing time. What were we discussing? It could have been anything: school, our older brothers, an anthill on the ground. At one point, one of the girls, a second, third, or fourth cousin of mine, gave me a sideways look and said, just a touch hotly, "How come you talk like a white girl?" The question was pointed, meant as an insult or at least a challenge, but it also came from an earnest place. It held a kernel of something that was confusing for both of us. We seemed to be related, but of two different worlds. "I don't," I said, looking scandalized that she'd even suggested and mortified by the way the other girls were now staring at me. But I knew what I was getting at. There was no denying it. Even if I just had, I did speak differently than some of my relatives, and so did Craig. Our parents had drilled into us the importance of proper diction, of saying going instead of going, and isn't instead of ain't. We were taught to finish off our words. They bought us a dictionary and a full Encyclopedia Britannica set, which lived on the shelf in the stairwell to our apartment, its titles etched in gold. Anytime we had a question about a word or a concept or some piece of history, they directed us towards these books. Dandy, too, was an influence, meticulously correcting our grammar or admonishing us to enunciate our words when we went over for dinner. The admonishing us, the idea was that we were to transcend, to get ourselves further. They planned for it. They encouraged it. We were expected not just to be smart, but to our own smartness, to inhabit it with pride, and this filtered down to how we spoke. Yet it also could be problematic. Speaking a certain way, the white way, as some would have it, was perceived as a betrayal, as being uppity, as somehow denying our culture. Years later, after I met and married my husband, a man who was light-skinned to some and dark-skinned to others, who speaks like an Ivy League educated Black Hawaiian raised by white middle-class Kansans, I see this confusion play out on the national stage among whites and Blacks alike. The need to situate someone inside his or her ethnicity and the frustration that comes when it can't easily be done. America would bring to Barack Obama the same question my cousin was unconsciously putting me to that day on the stoop. Are you what you appear to be? Do I trust you or not? I passed the test. I passed the rest of the day trying to say less to my cousin, feeling put off by her hostility, but also wanting her to see me as genuine, not trying to flaunt some advantage. It was hard to know what to do. All the while, I could hear the trickle of conversation going on between the adults in the kitchen nearby, my parents' laughter, ringing easy and loud over the yard. I watched my brother in the flow of a sweaty game with a group of boys on the adjacent street corner. Everyone seemed to fit in except for me. I look back on the discomfort of that moment now and recognize the more universal challenge of squaring who you are with where you come from and where you want to go. I also realized that I was a long way still from finding my voice. Thank you.
So very good. Okay. I would like to dedicate this reading to my grandmother, even though the poem is about great grandmothers, Beatrice Waltower Harris of blessed memory. And if you're thinking of someone special in your family, your grandmother or your great grandmother, just hold her in mind as you hear these words. Strong, beautiful Black woman, so peaceful and serene. You deserve to live in paradise and shown the finer things. Life has dealt you plenty of cards, some winning and others bad. And tides have brought in waves of memories, both happy and sad. Gracious, beautiful Black woman, so wonderful and divine. You've endured so many heartaches. Oh, the world is so unkind. But your speech is confident, and your eyes are soft, and your walk is hard and bold. Your laugh equals happiness. Your heart contains love and hides the stories untold. Tired, beautiful Black woman, so patient and calm. It's funny how you hold the family's fear within your palm, with wrinkles and stress and worn, torn hands. Tell me, how do you smile so when you've traveled this long, endured all this pain, and still you have miles to go? Blessed, beautiful Black woman, so collected and confident. I can't imagine a gift greater than you. Your love is heaven sent. Don't you dare give up now. Don't you dare give up now. Just stay strong. Your reward is coming. Strong, courageous, gracious, blessed, and beautiful Black woman. Thank you.
So did you guys enjoy yourself tonight? We truly hope so. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to know more books and poetry addressing our theme tonight, the Black family, please see the link to our African American Reading recommended reading list in the chat session. Also, the Office of First Year Experience and the Black Student Union announced the screening and discussion of critically acclaimed movie Fences in honor of Black History Month. The event will be held next Friday, February 26th in Gleason Auditorium. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. and CDC guidelines will be strictly enforced. The film screening is at 6 p.m., followed by a discussion, led by me also, at 8:30 p.m. Off-campus students are welcome to watch the movie and join in the discussion via Zoom. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our participants, the audience, and the organizers of the African American Read-In, Nancy Garma, Linda Kahn, Rolanda Hatcher Gallup, Joy Patterson, Noma Mathico, and Zen Campbell. Thanks to Evans Library and the School of Arts and Communication for hosting this amazing program. Also, thank you to the Merritt family behind me for birthing me and having me and making me a vessel to host and be here and cater to you all tonight. Before we go, let's enjoy another drum selection from Arissa Rissi African Folklore entitled Goodbye Song. You can catch the group's drumming and presentation on WUCF TV in a special PABS tribute to Mr. Rogers. The Gorific Neighbors special airs on WUCF next Saturday, February 27th and Sunday, February 28th at 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. Thank you all and good night.
Odabo. Everybody say.
Odabo.
Everybody say.
Odabo.
Odabo means goodbye. Odabo. We're done. The teacher. Rishi after the purpose. So meet again where you have peace.
Love. Respect.